Speaking to Professor Bala from the University of the West Indies, head of the Indology Department at UWI. As we talk about Indology meets Rootsology meets Herbology meets philosophy. It's a mouthful, right? So he just returned from Brazil at the 9th Annual Conference on Philosophy. And I think one day last week was the International Day of Philosophy. And I was like, where is Professor Bala? You need to speak to him on that day. But this morning, we're going to be speaking about peace. And that is just so very critical, so very important in our life today. So we're going to analyze it with Professor Bala. And everybody wants peace, right? So let's do this. Blessed morning, Prof.
Good morning and namaste, Isis and other friends who are with us on FM 96.1 Rootsology.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And thank you too. So how are you doing? You look very rested, even though you went to Brazil. And, I guess it was the topics and the whole, because I saw some pictures, beautiful pictures that were taken there at the conference. Yes.
Yeah, it was a wonderful conference, very engaging kind of a conference that I attended last week. It's organized by Unicamp, University of Campinos in Brazil, which is very close to Sao Paulo. The theme is very important for the context in the sense that it's on human rights. We think that human rights is a general concept which is common to all of us, but the seminar asked us to reflect on what could be non-Western conception of human rights. So is it that human rights itself is a kind of biased one or a perspectival one? And do we need to go beyond that? It's a very interesting kind of a deliberation. So we had a wonderful discussion on that. Probably we should devote one session, one of the weeks on that.
Yeah,
I'd be happy to talk about that.
Oh, yeah, sure. You chose peace this morning. What was the drive to talk about that? Of course, obviously, everybody wants peace, where so many situations, not only in Jamaica, but all over the world, where people are yearning and craving for this peace. Let's analyze that, as you said, from a philosophical point of view.
Yes, perfect. In fact, Isis, if you remember from the beginning, I was saying philosophy is a reflective discipline. It encourages us to go deep into what we look at, whatever that we come across. So, for example, if there is an innocent concept, a concept which appears to be innocent comes in front of us, we should stop for a while, look at it, go deep into it, and probably we may find a different kind of contradictions within the concept. So this is about philosophy. So taking up this concept of peace and trying to understand is important, especially in the present context of two wars, four big nations indulging in two different wars simultaneously now happening, right? So that's how I believe there are many of my friends who have reached out to me asking how should we understand peace in this context, where elsewhere in the world we see wars happening. So how do I understand my peace in this context is one of the interesting questions that has come to me from during my counseling sessions from some of our Jamaican friends. So I thought it would be appropriate to go deep into it and understand it for ourselves. So that's the context.
Okay, yeah, that's the context. You mentioned my peace. So is it then that, okay, even though we have all of this chaos around us, is the most important thing to recognize my peace? And is that a survival skill?
Right. That's a very interesting probing that you are making, Isis. In fact, when we understand peace as of now in the public epistemologies, we think that peace is only external peace. Okay, the peace that exists between nations, between people, between communities, externally. But actually, that becomes possible only if I maintain my own internal peace. No, there's these two, internal and external peace is very important. They have to go together. Otherwise, there is no possibility of maintaining any kind of peace at all.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, let's try to understand what is this concept peace itself. Some people try to understand peace to be happiness. Being happy is being peaceful, but
Mm-hmm.
is it actually that? In fact, you may aspire to be happy for lifelong, but you know that happiness is not a continuous process that would be there with you for lifelong or more than
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
particular stipulated time. And it would be interesting to note that your body and mind are not capable of maintaining either peace or suffering continuously for a long time, which means everything fluctuates, changes. Change is the nature of the life. So when you're happy, you are also aware that this happiness is going to end, and when you're suffering, similarly, you have to understand that this suffering is also going to end at some point of time. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how life oscillates between these two that we have to deal with in our life,
Mm-hmm.
right? Understanding this facticity of life is very important for us, and that is how do I look at both of them? How do I look at happiness? How do I look at suffering, and try to still maintain my balance? So it boils down to maintaining one's inner balance as the way of looking at the concept of peace. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where you have to maintain your inner peace in terms of like seeing or experiencing both happiness and suffering in a similar way, because both of them are uh, changing different phase of your
Mm-hmm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
They flow. You oscillate between them, and one goes and the other always comes when one goes. So this facticity of life, looking at both of them in a balanced way, is what is maintaining the peace, inner peace. It's not, peace is not just non-violence. Peace is not just being happy, right? It's beyond that. How do you maintain your own inner calmness? That is what is to be properly
Mm-hmm.
understood.
There's
Having
some.
said that,
Mm-hmm.
ISIS,
Mm-hmm.
basically now people ask like, they do worry about world peace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Russia-Ukraine war, or something that is happening in Gaza Strip,
Mm-hmm.
Israel. So we do worry about world peace. And many friends ask about that, like when something terrible is happening there, innocent people are being killed. So how do I maintain my inner peace? This is a bigger,
Mm-hmm.
larger problem, and into which all of us are thrown into. So how
Right.
do we react to that?
There are some
So I
persons, I might add, that, including myself, over the past few years, as a journalist, of course, you have to be in tune, internationally with news and all of that, and, the different mediums. But I found myself not watching much television. I used to be, CNN, and, all of them, like getting all, bombarded with all these BBC, with all the news and everything. And there came a time to maintain that peace. I had to shut it off, and I'm finding over time a lot of people I'm speaking to now, are saying they can't even watch the news, whether it's local or international, because this is a way for them to maintain their peace. But with somebody like myself and others who are in media, obviously we still have to have the knowledge. We have to know what's going on, so we can have, when we come on air, we can talk with some kind of, logic, you know. So with that kind of situation, how do we maintain? I hear you talking about balance. How do you maintain
Yeah.
that balance then of being someone who is in media or just in general that wants to know about what's happening in the world, and then still being able to not be bombarded with all of this, these situations that make you so depressed and despondent?
That's a perfect question. Thank you so much for asking that. See, we all know that we cannot suspend the world, what is happening in the world
Mm-hmm.
completely, and stay with ourselves as though we are isolated beings.
Mm-hmm.
That's not possible, because the world exists and we are part of the world. So you cannot suspend the world completely. But in such kind of situations, what I was trying to understand is I have been asking this question to myself and to my friends as well. Think of this, okay? There is a war happening elsewhere, and you're concerned about that. Fair enough, I understand. The violence that is happening is disturbing us. I always ask this question like, what about your immediate surroundings? Right? There is a war continuously happening in your immediate surroundings in terms of within you, within your family, within your smaller community, within your country where you are. So, did you make any positive contribution to peace around you, within you? Right? This is a very important trajectory because I am
Very.
reversing your concern for the world peace at large and then reducing it to your own individual self.
Right.
And did you ever contribute to peace around you? I'm just bringing it to your existential situation where you are, because I see many friends saying that, oh, my family is not peaceful. There is always a atmosphere of anger in my family. Everybody is like, they don't talk to each other. There is a kind of antagonism that exists. I would say, have you ever made a contribution? No. Did you make any attempt to contribute peace to the immediate surroundings around you? This is the first step that is required. Friends, don't think that somebody else will decide or your other family member has to yield to you. What about your positive contribution towards peace within your family? This is a very important question.
Extremely.
You have to ask yourself before seeking peace as a right. If you think that having at peace with yourself or living a peaceful coexistence is your right, please ask this question like, what is my contribution to it? If you don't contribute to the peace, do you have a right to ask for the peace? I'm restricting and situating it in the context of your workplace, your family, your smaller friends community, whatever other associations that you have. If you find it to be not at peace, then ask yourself the question that did I contribute anything to the peace?
So, in other words, all right, we see what's happening, Middle East. We see what's happening, Gaza. We see what's happening in Africa. We see what's happening in the Congo. So many spaces, but that's there. But what you're really saying is that, what about here? Because that
where you are situated,
right.
you're actually living with the space around you, okay, other fellow beings around you, and even here there is a small war continuously going on, and you're indirectly contributing to that, or directly contributing to the war that is happening around you, and you talk about as though you are actually sympathetic with the concept of peace about something that is happening in Ukraine or Gaza Strip or with Israel or with Russia. So I would say contributing to the peace has to happen at your own space where you are. Okay, you make your own space around you peaceful without contributing to the immediate surroundings. If you're worried about that peace, then probably you are not fair, towards the concept itself, right? Probably you are hypocritic with yourself. So I would suggest that please make a contribution from your side to the peace of your family. Please understand that it is your responsibility, it is your duty to contribute to the peace of the family and also to the peace of the community that is around you, because you are into it and you're expected to contribute back to it, because the societies, communities evolved for the sake of peaceful coexistence. Every society has come into existence for the sake of peaceful coexistence, right? It wants to facilitate a peaceful coexistence among the beings around us. So that's how I would urge each one of you to make a contribution, towards the peace of your immediate surroundings. That would be the beginning, which gives you larger hints as to how do I deal with
The
peace
bigger
at
picture.
the
Yeah.
at the international level,
National,
right?
international, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And then of course by
something,
go ahead, Prof.
yeah, something that is intricately related to this, because I'm drawing it to the inner peace, no, external peace. You can only contribute to that unless unless if you don't talk about a peace, whether you are at peace with yourself, which is very important. As what is it that disturbs your peace is an interesting question, no, that I always pose to myself. Like, what is it that disturbs your peace? Because in your life, I mean, each one of our lives, this is a universal I or you that I'm using. Like, we have to live with objects, we have to live with other human beings, we have to live with our own experiences. Only these three are the ones which are capable of disturbing your peace. And because you think that you possess the objects that you have, right? You are the owner. I bought it, it is my object, it is my laptop, it is my car, it is my bungalow, it is my money. So these are the things which make you, even the fear of loss itself disturbs
Right,
your
right.
peace.
Yeah, yeah. But I'd like to
Not
hear
losing them, fear of loss
the
itself
fear,
disturbs
exactly, because you haven't lost them really. It's a fear. But I'd like to find out what are one of the things or two of the things that disturb your peace, Prof. That would be interesting to hear.
what is it?
What I'd like to hear from you, I want to flip it around and ask you what is one thing that would disturb your peace or disturbs
Oh
your
yeah,
peace?
that's interesting. Yeah, if I have to respond quickly, something that disturbs me is if I don't learn anything in a day. No, at the end of the day, I
Wow.
try to see, is there anything new experience that I have gained, new knowledge that I've gained. If I feel at the end of the day that nothing new came to me, or nothing new attempt that I haven't made so far in that day, that really disturbs my peace.
So
So it's
even though
like
you
I
lecture,
consider,
you teach students, and so you, at the end of the day, want to make sure you have learned something yourself, even as a
oh
lecturer.
yeah, please don't think that lectures are for the sake of the other. I always stress this point, Isis, that when you speak, you think that you're only speaking for the other. No, you are actually speaking for yourself. You are the first listener of your talk. Remember that. That's why I always say, don't talk ill of yourself, because you are the first listener and your mind absorbs what you are saying, and it thinks, if you continuously talk negatively about yourself, saying that I'm angry, I'm tensed, I'm under depression, your mind absorbs that and says that, yeah, you are this. So be careful. You are the first listener.
Yeah, it's very true.
Speech is not for the sake of the other. Similarly, when I give a talk, it's not that I'm only giving them, trying to give my knowledge to the other, I'm putting myself in a hierarchy at some superior level. No, actually, it is always a mutual exchange that happens. Even silent audience give a lot of insights through their presence. So the presence of the audience itself makes me try to articulate myself in a different way, and it is always a learning experience.
Wow, wow.
Now that you asked this interesting question, that's why I said we are always students. So no
Yeah,
teacher can
yeah.
claim to be a teacher unless the student is alive within him or her. Student has to be alive.
That's powerful. Very, very powerful. Now,
I often
go ahead,
sorry.
Prof. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry,
No
I
problem.
often ask this question, like, what is teaching? Is it a kind of repetition? Because some people think that it is the same kind of syllabi and curriculum that teachers teach for the whole
Yeah,
life. So
yeah,
it's just a
yeah.
repetition. Some people unfortunately understand it this way, but actually, teaching is not a repetition. And some people think that teaching is like a stage performance, where you go perform to the audience and then come back. But actually, I consider teaching to be not a stage performance as well, because in a stage performance, script is already scripted. So you're supposed to repeat the script.
Yeah.
You know, teaching is more powerful and more wider than these two, because you know what is to be taught there, what topic is to be taught there. You also probably know the methodologies that you want to use, and probably it is also a good performance that you try to give to the audience, students there. But it is a spontaneous one. It is always a spontaneous one. The next sentence that I'm going to speak, I don't know. My language might be like I have chosen a language that is I'm restricted in a particular way, but next word that I'm using to reach out to my students, my audience, I don't know that. So it is that is how teaching is a spontaneous performance by the individual to reach out to the audience, looking at the audience and trying to communicate with the audience. So it's a complete performance that happens there. So it's a spontaneous performance, unlike a stage performance. So that's how I consider teaching to be a wonderful, noble profession, which tries to teach the teachers all the time if they're ready to learn.
Right. Wow. So I'm hoping and praying that your lecture is not next week Sunday, is it?
This Sunday, yeah, coming Sunday.
Coming this Sunday, I'm sorry. Wow.
26th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell us the topic and all the information that's required for persons who want to attend.
Yeah. Just before I go to that aspect, I want to give 3 tips for maintaining inner peace.
Oh, yes.
Please permit me to do that.
Of course. Of course.
When I say inner peace is to be maintained, there are 3 things that came to my mind, like practical, pragmatic things that we should keep in our mind, because people ask, how do I maintain my peace? Love someone deeply. That is how you maintain your inner peace.
Say that again.
But unfortunately,
say that again.
Love, concept of love. You love the other, right?
Love someone. Okay.
Yeah, love someone. This is very important. It is a powerful tool of maintaining inner peace. But be aware that any love that is transactional is not real one. So we do indulge in transactional love, which means give and take, right? That is all fine because it's part of our life. But love at least one person without any kind of transactional aspect.
So it's unconditional love? Going back to that word, unconditional love? Okay.
Unconditional. Which is also non-transactional, which means you're not anticipating anything back. So this is a powerful tool, I believe, which really helps you, because this I have been practicing after coming to Jamaica. I was like, I don't know why I'm here, so I should try to help people around me without anticipating anything. So it's working magically for me. Wow. So I believe everybody should find at least one person or one thing that you love unconditionally. Even if it is your concept of God, love it unconditionally, non-transactionally. Don't ask anything back from the God if you love your God. Right? That's again putting him in transaction.
Right. Did you say it's transactional? What's the word there? Is it transactional, you're saying?
Yeah, transactional in the sense that, see, we transact with money, right?
Yeah, right.
I give you something, you give me something back. So this is transactional kind of love that we have cultivated and we are with it. I don't deny the importance of transactional love, but I would say get into non-transactional love at least with one person, and it's going to impact you deeply. So that's one of the ways of maintaining or cultivating your inner peace. The second one is Jamaica is blessed with abundance of natural beauty. Live with nature for some time. Stay with nature. Stay tuned to nature. Spend some time with nature, because the energies that are existent in the nature, because we continuously pollute our energies inside, and the energies are available with the nature. So in order to tune your energies with the nature, spend some time with the nature. This alignment with the natural energies is a powerful tool of healing and curing. So I would say the second important aspect to maintain your inner peace is this: spend some time with the nature. The third one is shut down everything. Shut down everything and try to pause your actions completely. Pause your senses as well completely. Stay with yourself. And this is like if you want to do it in the form of prayer, if you want to do it in the form of meditation, that's fine.
You mean on
Pause
a daily
yourself.
basis? When you say shut down everything, become still. Is that a daily requirement that you're giving? Daily?
It would be good if we can do it daily. All these three aspects that I've mentioned, right? You try to practice them daily, or at least whenever it is possible. It is important that you pause yourself. We are told from our childhood that no, no, as long as you are awake, you should be doing something. You should
Always
be
doing, always doing. Yeah.
all the time. Not one thing you have to do. You have to be in multitasking mode all the
Multitasking all the
time.
time. That's trending now. Multifaceted. Oh, whoa, that's a big deal.
Yeah, actually, it's a big deal in the sense that you are losing yourself in the process of
Yeah.
multitasking, you know. So
Yes.
that's how pause, being mindful. These are very important, powerful tools for maintaining our inner peace. You are important to you. Through multitasking, what is it that you are trying to do? You are not trying to contribute to yourself. You are trying to contribute to the
Everything on the
different
outside. Yeah.
agencies simultaneously, but you're losing yourself. So I would always urge and suggest that you remain with yourself and focus on that, and do that in terms of meditation or prayer, whatever that is possible for you. You know, staying with oneself is important. So these are the
Excellent.
three things that I believe which would help
Thank
us
you.
in maintaining our inner peace.
Thank you so
Having
much for
said
that.
that, let me go to the
Yes.
thing that you have asked.
Yes,
This
please.
weekend, I'm going to speak at the Indian High Commission on philosophy of something that is very interesting: food. We all eat,
Wow.
right? So,
Wow.
is there any philosophy that we can take out in the processes that are involved in preparing and making food? How do we look at it? So this is what I'm trying to focus this weekend. Please do come. It is on Sunday, uh, 5 p.m. at 5 Earls Court, Indian High Commission. So
Right,
you're most
right.
welcome to join.
Yes.
The flyer would be out by tomorrow, I
Okay,
believe.
good. So
So
we can promote it. Yeah.
I
Great.
invite all of you to come and join and
Great.
have a feast of
Yeah.
food for philosophy for
Food for
food,
thought.
philosophy of food.
I
Yeah.
know we're really out of time, but I must ask you, because most people saying philosophy of food. What is he talking about? How did you come to this realization?
That suspense
Curious.
till next week.
You don't want to give away the whole lecture now. I get that. I get that. I love that. Yeah. And
No,
then.
in fact, many of my friends have been into food industry, and they are also into commercial food industry. They are into organic food industry as well. So I felt that this is to be spoken about
Right.
because all
Beautiful.
of us are consumers of food. So we
Yes.
should know what is to be consumed and
Ah.
what is intricately involved in the process of preparing the food, which would be in tune with our own selves. So this is what I would be looking at and trying to explain.
Excellent. Looking forward. Thank you so much once again, Professor Bala.
Thanks for the
Have a
kind
great
invite,
day.
Mrs. Namaste.
Welcome back to Jamaica, and we'll talk again soon. All the best now.
Thank you. Thank
Wonderful
you so much,
conversations.
Mrs.
Yes. All right. We're after 11 o'clock. Woo. We went over a bit, but because I'm hosting this program as well, Make We Talk, I guess I can, Professor Bala from the University of the West Indies, heading the Department of Indiology. We talk about peace today. Wow, that was powerful. And it's about going, here we go, inner to inner, Dwight, to maintain that peace within yourself and your surroundings. How can you be so concerned about peace, in Tivoli, peace in, wherever in your community, Denham Town, peace in the Congo, peace in the Gaza Strip, and you don't have peace within yourself? How does that work? So, yeah, thank you so much for that, for bringing those pointers out, Professor Bala, and also the Thank you so much for the tips as well that help us to maintain inner peace. We'll probably delve more into that on Inner the Inner. So I'm going to take a pause for the cause. I'm hoping that Arlene will join me for Make We Talk, or at least a part of it this morning. We're going to take a little commercial.